Hello and welcome to Just for Fun. I'm going to have a go at 4x4 magic square. By no means am I a mathematician, but there is a gentleman called Ethan Brown, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. I put the link below if you want to go and have a look at his performance, because he is brilliant. He doesn't do a 4x4 magic square like everybody else does. He does it. He approaches totally differently, and I find it very fascinating. It took me weeks and weeks and weeks to figure out and do all kinds of things to try and find out how he could have done that. I have a solution, but I don't know if that's the way he does it. But there is a solution that I think I have the way he could have performed this magic square. So I'm going to show you what he did, but I'm going to go through a few other steps of 4x4 just to ease our way into the Ethan Brown, how he performs his square, and then I'm going to reveal how he could have done the 4x4 magic square. And there is another guy, Singing Banana, and he's quite good. He does a 5x5. I haven't even gone there yet, but I will have a look at that after this one and see how he does his square. I always wondered if it was the mathematics behind it, because he's so brilliant with his maths that he could just look at the squares and go, this goes there, that goes there, because he fills them in very, very fast indeed. And or was there a trick behind it? Well, I found it's a bit of both. It's maths and trick, and I'm no good at maths, so I'm going to use a trick and see how we get through that one. So thank you very much. I hope you have fun. Let us look at how Ethan Brown did his magic square. He asked 3 people in the audience to choose a square. One of them chose this one here, and they chose a number between 1 and 20, and they said 15. The next one, I think, chose this one here, and they said number 19. And one more chose this number here, and they said 10. Now when he said that, then Ethan filled in this square here, we put a circle on it, and this square here, and this square here. These are the numbers he put in. And then he asked them what would the sum be that anybody wanted between 30 and 80. So all these numbers from 1 to 20, any number you want, any square you want, and what would the sum they wanted between 30 and 80. Somebody shouted out 43. Then Ethan filled in the rest of the squares. If you've gone and seen his video, then you know what I mean. So he goes like 20 here, 1 here, and that will be it. And then all this will equal 43 everywhere you look at it. And that was the brilliance of the man, because he asked the audience what they wanted. He even asked them what that number should be, and then he filled them in. So we'll discuss that in a bit, but let's look at other things we need to know first. First of all, what's the sum of all the numbers that should add up to? And that's 34. The way you can do it is you can add 1, add 2, add 3, add 4, and go on till 16. That'll equal 136. You divide that by 4 because it's 4 rows, you get 34. The other way is 1 add 16 equals 17. Multiply by 4 equals 68. And you divide that by 2 equals 34. So now that we know the sum of all those numbers is 34, this is what we're looking for when we add everything up. One of the ways that you can do 4x4 is that you write all the numbers down. So that will be 1, and I'll put that in these numbers in red because we're going to do something different later on. So that'll be 1, that'll be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. And what they do, they swap these numbers round. So that will become 16, and this will become number 1. In the same way, this one will become number 4, and that will become number 13. And this will become number 11, and that will be number 6. and this will be number 10 obviously, and this one will be number 7. So when you arrange these numbers this way, you should equal to 34 every way you add up. So you can add up this way, that way, across like that, these 4, these 4, these 4, these 4, and so on and so forth, as you know. So that's one of the ways of doing, but it's pretty simple, and it's not very like wow factor, is it really? Okay, so there is another way of doing these magic squares, and that is if you fill certain of them out. For instance, we put a 54 here, 18 here, 72 here, and 36. Obviously you don't fill them out like that. If you was performing, you'd put one here, one there, like that, so it's like confusing. Nobody could see that you're actually filling these numbers out. Then you can change what it should be the sum of. Say this one we want it to be 40 instead of 34 or 35 or even 41 or whichever. So say we want it to be 40. So you ask somebody, choose a number between 25 to 100, and say they say number 40 for argument's sake. So then once you fill these out like that, well, you've got to memorize these, I'm afraid. This one is number 10, then you cross that way to 11, and up and that way to 12. These are fixed numbers, by the way, so they're going to stay where they are. This one always is a 9, and the only variations are this one, this one, this one, and this one here. So this one will be x minus 20, so it'll be 40 minus 20 obviously, and then this one will be x minus 21, x minus 18, and x minus 19. So when we say x minus 20 is 14 minus 20, that gives us 20 here. That'll be 20 there. X minus 21 will give us 19. X minus 18 will give us 22. And x minus 19 will give us 21. Now if you remember that, and then you add up all these up, it should equal to 40 each way. Any way you add up, it will be equal to 40. So obviously you remember these numbers where they go. Remember the 9, remember 10, 11 and 12, and as you fill in the squares for somebody, you don't put them in order, you put them anyhow, because you're remembering which number goes where. Fill them in, and then you just remember these 4 squares to make up to their number. They will be amazed. And that's how you do this one with a different sum of. Okay, here we go then. This is the birthday magic square that you might have found already. This was my biggest lead, or clue should I say, to Ethan Brown's square. Now the birthday magic square is interesting, and the way it works is lovely too. What I've done is I've changed this YY, they put year to century, because then it doesn't get confusing. So you got day, month, century and the year. And then these are add 1, minus 1, minus 3, plus 3, and so on and so forth. It goes like this. So this is the birthday square. We're going to have a look at it in a minute. So I'm going to leave it there for a second if you want to pause the video and just write it out. Here we go then. So we're going to fill out the birthday magic square, and we're going to give somebody a birthday, say on the day it's the 24th of the 5th month, year is 1963. So that's your century and that's your year. And then if you fill out the way I showed you, then it should be something like this. 64 there, 18, 27, 3, 26, 65, 17, 20, 62, 25 and 4. Now if you look at that, it should be correct. There is +1, yeah, so that should be correct now. So if you add these up, these add up to 111. So everybody's birthday add up to a different number. Now 111 should add up across this way too, this way too, this way too, and also down. So what I'm going to show you now is if you should add these 4 here, so I'm going to put this here like this, it should add up to 111. Add these 4 here, 111, these 4, 111, these 4, 111. Right? If you add up these 4 here, these 4 squares, then that should up to 111. If you add these 4, 111, 111, these 4 squares. If you add these squares, 111, and these squares here, 111. And also if you add up the square, these 4 corners here, they should add up to 111. And you can find plenty more ways of finding out if there's any more patterns there. But all these things will add up to 111 on this particular birth date. Okay, I used the birthday square to give me an idea, and what I did, I placed A, B, C, D. I realized the top row of birthday square had to amount to a certain number. So when they gave 43, I realized that this has to amount to 43. So what I did is the closest numbers to this one I put in as a plus or a minus to whatever square that was. This is a D minus 3, so D is 1, so minus 3 has to be minus 2, which is what was put down, and so on and so forth. So this is the formula that I made up from understanding the birthday square, and I think it works out and fills in pretty well to make all these into 43. So then this is the formula. Okay, let's explain how this was filled in. So this was a 43. As we know, the audience gave these numbers randomly and somebody else gave that number. So everything had to add up to this number. We know from this formula, this is a 15 and this is a A, because this was put down straight away. This one was put down 14 straight away, and this was 17. So these numbers were put down immediately as the other people gave that number. So this being an A, we can see that this was an A plus 3, so this had to be an A minus 3. Understand this, that this square was more important than anything else here. Once you fill that in to make 43, then everything else should follow suit. Because we have random numbers here and there, we had to make it these numbers to fit everything else here. So this being 15A was plus 3, so this had to be minus 3, so working backwards. This number was put down, which is a A plus 2, so 12 plus 2, and then this is another A here, is A plus 5, which is 12 plus 5, 17. Hence, all the A's in each row were sorted. Understand that every row has A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D in a different order. Then we look at this number here, 19, which is a B minus 1. So straight away, this being a B square had to be plus 1, which making it 20, in order for that to be a minus 1. So this was a b, so the next one then, the b minus 3 would be 17, and a b plus 2 would be 22. Sorry, I think I got the wrong square. 22 here, b plus 2, 22, and b minus 1. So these are the b squares here filled in. The c was already 10, so this was a plus 3 here, so that making it 13. This one here was a minus 2, so that making it 8. And c plus 1 here making it 11. Then when you calculate these three numbers, you have to put the number down whatever you need to make it to 43. So it had to be 1 to make a total of 43. That's what I mean about maths. You should be good at maths to add up blah blah blah, so and so. So that had to be number 1. Hence a d minus, because that's a d square now, minus 3 here had to be minus 2. And this is d square minus 2 here, so this becomes minus 1. And d square minus 5, so it becomes minus 4. And this is the way this square is filled in with this formula. Okay, to try this theory out, I gave myself a few numbers 1 to 20 here, saying that will be 20. I chose this one as being 12. I chose this one as being 15. And the number we have to amount to is 65. 65. Okay, so I didn't have to worry about this one, but this one had to think about being a b, and this is a b minus 3, so this has to be 15 here, and this one is a d minus 5, which has to be making this one 20, because this is d minus 5. So that left me with this one to make it up to 65, which makes 10. And then the rest we just follow this formula and to fill it out, because now we know these numbers, these will correspond to each one. So this will make it to 13. So yes, so it's a cross down. These numbers should make it to 65, and this square is here. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that you'll have a go as well. The only thing that I think one can come stuck with, and if anybody knows the solution, please let me know. And that is, if somebody chooses, say for instance a b there, somebody chooses this number here as being a 15 for argument's sake, and then they choose another b, this one here has say 10 instead of that 12, then these will not correspond to each other, hence you will come really stuck with this square. You wouldn't be able to use this formula because you're using two same squares. So if you use two same squares, C, C, or D, D, like this, or anywhere inside this square, then the formula will not work. So if you do have a solution, love to hear from you. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching.